Thank you. Okay, so the concept of what we're doing tonight was sort of running around my head about, 60 days ago. And I sat down with Mark, who's with Nerdy Dragons. Where is he? Oh, there he is. And I was talking to him about it. He said, oh, you got to talk to Jason. And I talked to Jason about it. And Jason was like, God, I know this guy. And hey, we're thinking of doing this. Could we do that for the first event? And so the excitement about what happens on entrepreneurship, and those of you who are deep into the community on it, is you recognize that when you reach out to people, 9 times out of 10, they will respond and they will connect. And I just got to tell you, it's been a blast working with Jason and Matthew and Zach from Trailhead and Mark about what it is we're doing here, and Griffin's been involved. So it's just been fun to come together to make this happen. So with that, I want to introduce my good friend Jason Dodd. And overall, I want to give him a round of applause for bringing this together, having his team work hard on it, and just participating and making it a better vibe for all of us. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks everybody who made it. We're turning to the digital marketing focus after a quick story and some thank yous. Bit of Italy, Nampa, my favorite restaurant. Absolutely delicious. My wife's parents actually own it, and it's a cult favorite. Constantly we go places, and people mention it before we say anything. Number 2, thank you to 360 Immersive. Actually, some of the greatest people that you can meet, really on a deep human level. They'll do anything to make things better for you. Kind of an altruistic outlook, and the characteristics of what we all strive for in a community as we work with startups and each other to grow as a community together. Number 3, Trailhead, to really get more events going and get more connections and more opportunities for people to do things, have things heard, and get exposure for each other. So this is a great first start, and hopefully we do a lot more attending and pitching and presenting in the days ahead. Now, Nerdy Dragon is a scrappy company that kind of has gone through some bumps and bruises, and along the way at each step we've kind of learned a little bit more, better and better, who we are, what value we serve, and how we can engage in business with people. And that sounds kind of ridiculous, that how can you have a company and kind of learn that as you go, but it was really a survival-based business of, hey, my employer can't make payroll and all of our customers canceled the contracts. What do? You come up with a name people like, and you go to every event, hand out business cards as a desperate guy. And John is going to tell you that is not what you do if you want to have a company that you can scale. But it led us here to this moment. And here we are, making connections, attending digital marketing trade shows, soaking up everything we can do, and learning our strength is on the production side, on developing, on building assets people can use. We ended up at a trade show in New York, the MADE conference, and this guy walks by, and we start talking. We kind of have this connection, learning about a project in the entertainment industry, kind of a viral episodic content that's celebrity-driven, that's brand-backed. And this guy knows what he's talking about. And so we ended up saying, we need to talk more. We weren't exactly sure what we were going to do, but we sat down until we got kicked out of the conference. They're rolling up the carpets. Everybody must go. And we're like, oh, no. We have to keep talking. We did. As we moved forward, they learned, hey, they need design. They hired one of Boise's best designers. And we were lucky to be part of the contract as they transitioned to onboarding to full-time. They said, hey, we need a web developer. Hired a Boise-based web developer, working full-time, doing awesome stuff. And we need a full-stack developer and a mobile app developer. Well, guess what? Boise's got a community of some of the best that there are. So we're just making connections, and John's company's just hiring them one after the other. I need a CIO. It's like, okay, do I know a CIO? Hey, Chuck, do you know a CIO? Yeah, I used to work with this guy. We make an introduction. They hire him. They love him. Now they're doing big things, exciting stuff. And we stayed, engaged, part business, part friendship. And John's as impressive as they come, as full of integrity, full of honesty and candor, and just fun to be around, kind of a magnetic personality. So the more we talked, the more I learned. And one day he reached out and said, hey, I'm still own these companies, still doing these things, but I've started an agency, and I figured I'd call and see what there is with you. And I thought, well, wait a minute here. Trailhead is a place where business starts in Boise. It's a connector. It brings people together to do great things. Everybody wants to grow their business, and John is as good as there is that I've ever come across at taking it down to the plain level, almost like an elementary school teacher, where you think, oh yeah, I guess I should have known that. Reminds me of marriage counseling. Don't really love to say that, but you sit down and you're like, oh yeah, that all makes sense. And you go home, you're better, and things get stronger and better as you move forward. So with that, I'd like to introduce Mr. John Whiting.
I don't know how you follow a guy like that. Talk about magnetic personality. I'll try and be, relatively magnetic, I guess.